as far as like introduction goes, I was thinking like, okay, if there's really 3 purposes that we've talked about with this, like, why are we even doing this? One would be giving like deeper context into like who we are and how we do things. 2 would be giving people insight into the stories that are here, right? Like some of that includes like the coaches, but also like the clients that we see and all the crazy things that is honestly, most of it's just outside the norm of, you know, your classic gym. And then 3, just giving valuable information, right? Like deeper conversations that sometimes we don't actually get into in the moment of training, but oftentimes we have in the back, you know, in the behind the scenes piece of working with people.
And they're asking for it. You just have to find a way to deliver it. And this could be one of those avenues. So,
well, and that's the cool thing too, is like, sometimes we do have those conversations one-on-one with a client because it comes up and then we're like, dang, we really should share this with this client and this client and this client and this client. Like I had conversations this morning with Tomlinson on peptides, cortisol, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's like that's like 5 different podcasts right there. Like that, repeat that conversation with also other people that we can go back and forth on the information.
I've always thought we should be miking up our coaches, and that could get us full content just from passive conversations, not even like purposeful dialogue of like, okay, let's sit down and talk about peptides. Let's sit down and talk about this. Like it's just organic conversations on the floor, and they're just saying, hey, like I saw this on Instagram. What are your thoughts on that? And then bam. All that material right there. Okay. So I want to know, from my side of things, going from coach, trainer, nutritionist, what made you make the jump?
That's funny because actually a lot of people, even a lot of our coaches, don't even know my nutrition background, right? Okay, so say the question again. So like how or why?
Why did you make the jump?
Okay. So if we go back far enough, right, I got my undergrad in kinesiology, and I knew pretty quickly, I'm like, I need to have the nutrition side, right? So when I was applying for grad school out here in California, I was looking for specifically, I need a school that has nutrition and kinesiology together. There were 2 of them, Long Beach and San Diego State. San Diego State was impacted, so I went with Long Beach. And I was already working with people at that time, and I knew that like there's so much more that has to be involved on the nutrition side. Of course, most people know that too, right? They know, like if you're just working out and you have like serious goals, there has to be some involvement in the nutrition side. And you know, my experience in the early days of working with people is your general information out there is so, at the very least, it's confusing, right? There's completely opposing thoughts on what's right and what's not, and you can put them into practice and like you're not getting where you want. So like obviously there's something missing. So that was my like first step. I was like, okay, I know I want the nutrition side, and we can have a whole conversation about the direction of nutrition I went. That transition from training people to say running a business honestly was just necessity, right? Like which actually we weren't even really talking that much at that time when I started going to people's houses, right?
No, I was out of state, fully involved in the military at that point.
So I had gone on my own, and I was just going to people's houses. And if you're including travel and working with people, I could literally only work with like 9 people at a time. And it became one of those where I had gotten pretty good at building a following and a demand. It's like, okay, I only have 9 spots here. Like, there's a lot more people, so now what? And it was finding someone else that I could trust with the type of people that I was working with. Like when I was going to people's homes, it was mostly special populations. It wasn't mostly like the weight loss thing. And then I had learned along the way, actually even working at other places in the past, most of us get in this to work with people, right? We get into this because we like fitness, we like health, we like working out, but we don't get taught any of the business stuff.
Yep.
And there's a lot of great trainers out there that don't have clients because they don't know how to communicate and acquire people and show them that they can help them. That part I was good at. So I was like, okay, I know you can do this. I can do that. Let's keep repeating that cycle.
So you went from working for someone, jumped to, okay, I can do this on my own. What did that, from that point of making that decision, how did Progressive Health Pro at the time become Progressive Health Pro?
That's another one, actually. Remember, we did this a couple years back where we did like a
it was
PHP history,
yep.
Like who actually knew. So yeah, originally I had incorporated the company as Progressive Health Pro because it was just single operator, right? And I knew I wanted it to be not Eric Cruz Fitness, so it wasn't dependent on me. And I had it that angle because I was doing a lot more nutrition coaching at that time. I rarely did just the fitness side with people. So
it was inverted.
Yeah.
It was nutrition plus fitness.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I was doing all kinds of like testing and stuff like that with people. And that was really where like the unique selling proposition was like, well, why me? Because we're going to look deep into what's going on with your metabolism and your gut health with all kinds of testing and that kind of stuff. You know, and when you jumped on, I think we were still Progressive Health Pro, right?
Yeah, we weren't incorporated into the other one yet.
There was like, I would say a good 6 months to a year where we were like, this brand just doesn't really fit who we are now, right? And that was when we made that jump to Progressive Health and Performance, which is heavier, of course, on the fitness side, but still involves some of it. And honestly, some of that was just, I had to make the decision that it's not in the business best interest for me to continue coaching people on nutrition because of how time intensive it is. And at some point there's a cap and we can't duplicate it unless we find someone else that has that same background.
So that took you from concept to operational. Online, no, not even online. You were just mobile.
Not really. There was a hot minute where I was doing like online stuff, but only because people would randomly find me.
Okay. So then how did brick and mortar PHP start?
Do you actually know this story?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Dr. Bowman at Trailhead, we had met, I want to say like 2014. And at that time we were both working for someone else and just kind of kept in touch. We were more or less trading services. I was training him and he was adjusting me. And I was going to people's houses already. And then he had gotten to the point where he's like, hey, I'm, starting my own practice. I was like, cool, sounds good. Good job, man. And he found this spot and came to me and said, hey, I got like a 500 square foot room in the back. There's nothing I can do with it. Like it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that will work. I'm like, not the ideal scenario to open up a gym that's essentially a speakeasy in the back of a chiropractic office.
Start somewhere.
But dude, like I couldn't even get a loan at that time, at least with the resources that I knew. Chris actually, they funded the construction that we did in there and I paid him back. Like we didn't have anything. So that was February of 2018 when we opened over there with I think it's technically like 380 square feet of gym space. And then we rented out one of his offices for consultations.
Yep. I still remember clients show up 6 a.m. We're there at 5:30. We put half the equipment outside on mats. So half the clients are outside, half the clients are inside. Not saying it's 20 clients in that space, but let's say 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Felt like 20.
We were training 50 people a week, right? We had 50 like recurring members, people that were coming 2 to 3 times a week on average in less than 400 square feet of space.
Not bad.
And we like, Ambrose and I used to joke about this a lot. Like, dude, if we can make this work,
anything.
If you add any bells and whistles, like, okay, we must be doing something right. Like if people are coming and referring people based on that. Because most of that was word of mouth at that time too.
So small space, mobile to somewhat of a brick and mortar, renting from Dr. Chris. The clients that you were getting, hey, you're training me, can you train my son? Or hey, you're training me, can my husband come? That's how it started filling that room.
Yeah.
And then what was the trigger from that point to do expansion 1 into this suite over here?
I mean, honestly, most of it was just space, right? Like we knew it was uncomfortable training 3 people at a time in there.
Or getting a bar out and taking half the room.
Yeah, well, that's right, because even the squat rack folded in and out of the wall at that time. And we didn't even know who we were. It was just like, oh yeah, we have a lot of skills, we have a lot of knowledge, and we can help you with this and this and this. But we actually at that time didn't even know like who we were built for. You know, so like from a business plan standpoint, it didn't exist. And I've actually told quite a few people, like, if we had actually known what we were getting ourselves into, we probably wouldn't have done any of this. Like, it would have looked like too big of an obstacle.
Well, because fitness it's not the easiest industry.
Yeah.
It's very saturated around here. Gyms popping up, especially certain places around here that you can just pay rent and train anyone and not have any of the other constraints that you have as renting space, having employees, and doing it the right way, not necessarily just 1099ing everyone. So,
well, and that's like another whole conversation that I had learned after, working at a couple other places, like learning like, oh man, there's actually a lot of like legal stuff that we should probably do this. Let's do this the right way and make sure that we're not, playing in the gray. And that makes it harder from like a business and operational standpoint, but to do it the right way that also serves the careers of coaches, right, that are here. Like it was the only way to do it was us to be truly a team.
So first room, myself, you, 2 other coaches, 1 admin. Pretty simple operation, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have anything digital. We had paper formats. We all knew how to program. We all degreed.
No CRM.
Right, yeah, nothing like that. So it's just like text, your own calendar, figure it out.
Yeah.
And then first expansion, we jumped from that footprint.
Yeah.
How much space was that?
So we added on like 1,600 square feet, which technically 500 of that was like a lobby or walking in area, and then 3 offices. So we really actually only added like about 1,000 feet.
Just that back space.
Yeah.
And then a walking
workout.
Way.
Yeah.
And our own door.
Yeah.
Like that's what.
A front door.
Yeah.
And technically we had a spot that you could put a sign, but it was under the eave.
Yep.
Like.
Okay. And then at that point, we were having clients quickly being word of mouth. We still weren't nowhere in the systems that we are today.
Yeah.
So we still have word of mouth clients or leads coming in. We didn't have enough coaches. That's when we started getting into the intern game, plus not necessarily our name being out there, but we were getting some inquiries about trainers and coaches looking for a place that's not a big box gym, that's not CrossFit, that's not boot camp or class style. I know on my end, kind of filtering through those, it was interesting seeing that everyone had a degree.
Yeah.
But then 0 experience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we lived. We're like, okay, let's take a blank slate and let's try and build that up. And I feel like that worked pretty well at the beginning because we were a blank slate essentially.
Yeah.
We're like, well, they don't know that we don't know what we're doing. So
we're all just figuring it out.
So they know that we know exercise science, but they couldn't tell anything on the background. So I'm like, oh, that's probably the best bet. They needed something to learn from anyway. We had a lot to offer from that standpoint. We could all just kind of elevate in some capacity that way.
Which, if you think about it too, if we had a bunch of people that had worked at a lot of other places, that ideally, if they had a good experience and they had systems and that kind of stuff, they wouldn't have liked that culture that we had. Like, it was true startup. Everybody's doing everything and doing it together.
No front desk at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would have, the few people that we did have come in that were something of that, like they lasted like a month. They're like, nope, not for me. This is, we're running and gunning.
I mean, the pace was fast too.
Yeah.
I think today is the pace is pretty fast, but there's a lot of structure built within the pace that can kind of condense it out and layer it so it's not so heavy. Back then, it's like, okay, I have, let's say 15 clients. I'm calling my clients, I'm texting my clients, I'm making sure they're showing up, because if they don't show up, there's no back end to filter any of that.
Yeah.
There's no Lacey.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of that. So it had to truly be.
I don't even think we had our own phone number. I think the business phone number was essentially my cell phone.
Yeah. You had your phone number.
Crazy. Okay. What was that? So what was that like for you? Because you had obviously military background, but also like you worked for big organizations, right? When you were out in the Midwest. Were you excited for that?
Yeah, I like that. I knew I was going to be able to train not just clients, because we've done that forever. I was able to train new grads into this industry the right way, because we've seen so many people that are 5-10 years in, and then they interview, or we just talk to them at a conference and they're like, oh, I don't have an assessment system, I don't have a screening system, I'm like, man, if we could catch them 10 years earlier. So that was I'm like, cool, if we can start building a team and training them the right way, getting them to the point where their 2 years looks like everyone else's 10 years, that's worth it to me.
Yeah. And that's what we've talked about a lot. It's like, look, our goal is, we've been doing this 10, 15 years. How can we condense all of that information for you and all that experience into a 2 to 3 year period, so that you don't have to take that long arch, right, of a career path?
I think that is why, I mean, at least in the past, 2 years was somewhat of a 10-year for some of our coaches. Are like, dang, I've learned so much here. I got the itch now. I want to go try and start something, because they learned so much in that 2 years. They're like, dang it, I already know how to program now. I know how to talk to clients now. I somewhat know how to get leads now. I really want to try this on my own. So we saw that back in whenever we were probably like mid PHP, which I thought was kind of cool. But then it's like, all right, here we go. Next group, next rotation. Let's train the next group up, which isn't a bad model, because it shows that we got them to a point where they're confident enough to start something and get to that point. Like, all right, I'm either going to rent something or I'm going to start my own.
And, we've talked to gym owners in particular that have been doing this 15, 20, 30 years. And like that's how it goes, right? I mean, any business too, not just gyms. Like, yeah, you're going to have people that, age out of the system or whatever. And I remember in the early days, that was one of the mistakes that I made, was like thinking that, and setting, I guess, the expectation that like, okay, once we get this figured out and it's these people, we're all just going to ride or die this forever, right? And it's like, no, it's not going to work that way. The moment that finally shifted, right, and my mindset shifted on that, it's like, okay, now I'm ready. Like, okay, new people, let's get them faster and further than we did the last group. And I've talked about with a lot of them, even some clients, like the goal is that we can keep the business growth pace up with their ideal career growth pace at the same time, right? And ideally, if we can continue to create opportunities for them to grow, which means professionally, financially, personally, like ideally it's just continue to make this the best opportunity for them. And if they outgrow that, then that is what it is. That also means we did a good job, just like clients, right? It's like, you train them to get to a goal. And ideally, of course, like you're equipping them at the same time. And ideally, I actually tell a lot of people this in our discovery sessions. Ideally, every single client gets to the point that they don't need us anymore, but they love it here so much that they stay anyway.
They just want to be here.
Yeah. It's like, whether it's the culture, the routine, the constant, like having a coach in some area of your life is always important, right?
Okay, so we made it to first expansion. Somewhat mid-systems. I think at that point we had some client management software, definitely not digital yet.
Right.
So still paper programs, Google Sheets, all of that. Probably 10 total employees at that time. Interns always running in and out. Clients, what do you think our client number jumped to? It's about 50 to 100-ish?
Yeah. When COVID hit, because we were right in the middle of expanding when COVID hit, we were right around 100, between 100 and 150.
Because that time we had about 50 plus vets too.
Yeah. And then COVID cut us in half.
Yep.
Like that.
And that was tail end of expansion.
Yeah.
Towards once this was officially able to roll, what you see now. And then what did that add to the business?
What, having the expansion space? Well, you know what's crazy? If the way that our expansion went, if that hadn't already been in motion, like I remember when COVID hit, I was like, this is the worst time to be expanding. Like we just took on all these extra expenses. Like we took on this huge loan and all that. And thinking like, this is the worst time to expand. And then when we finally did reopen, people were still like, okay, I'm good being in person, but I still want my space. If we hadn't been ready and hadn't had more space, there's no way we would have been able to continue to grow the way that we did once we opened. So like actually end up being a huge blessing in that aspect. Not to mention like people that had been with us and then stopped and came back when we reopened. They got to walk in and it felt like a completely brand new place, So like it ended up being a catalyst more than anything. And of course doubled our ability to serve people. But we talked about this a lot too. We could have looked for another location, but we knew at that time, like our systems, there's no way we can spread out our team right now. Like we need to be together still.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows at least the maturity side of not letting our ego go in the front of our ability to run a proper business. Like, we could do it. And then we pump up, we could figure it out. But I don't think we would have the same team that we have today if that happened.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, well, I don't get to see anyone. I don't think they even know what's going on. But we were able to see everything here because everyone's in one spot. And we're like, this isn't working. That is working. This isn't working. That is working. And we were able to constantly adjust.
Yeah.
And some people kind of liked the adjustment. Some people kind of didn't. But it had to be done because that's when we went digital on programming. That's when MindBody was at least effective for us. We figured out how to use it a little bit better.
To build a schedule at least.
Rather than just, hey, like I don't think you paid last month, but it can actually have reports built for us so we can see that. What else did we had digital, we had that. We added our onboarding. At least we had better onboarding for all of our new coaches. At that point,
can you imagine if we still did that? Like if
it wouldn't,
because everybody's first appointment was folding right into group training. Can you imagine that? Trying to run assessments and that kind of stuff.
I think especially how our clientele pivoted a little bit to more of like the health, timid client, other things haven't worked.
Yeah.
If there isn't the nurture of our discovery session, our one-on-one assessment, then they slow roll into learning what they're going to do at home.
Yeah.
Then on their fourth visit, they're like, okay, I've been here 3 times. I've seen smiling faces. I've seen people that are comfortable in here. I'm good now with my barrier being lowered to actually learn something to get to where I want to go. And I'm not just going to stop like I've done all the other times.
Yeah.
I think that was a very key kind of point that we've made to our systems.
Well, and so we're talking, say, 2021-ish, 21, 22 maybe, like at this point. That's when we finally figured out, like, oh, here's who we are and here's who we serve. And that's when those systems can complain, like, okay, the way that the normal gyms do it does not fit. And I think the other side of that is too, is like, I'd probably done 500 discovery sessions at that point. So I'd literally sat down for an hour with 500 people and understanding, like, okay, what are the problems that we keep hearing over and over and over again, even if they've tried other gyms and other trainers and stuff like that. Like, okay, we just let the people tell us, like, what does this need to look like for them to be successful?
You said 2021, 2022.
Yeah. Like, that's when we started Bridge. It was 22.
Okay. So we got Bridge going, which is our client software that we use for all of our programming, the home programming. Definitely help from I say this exercise calls this, you say it's called that, but the coach is training the third version of that exercise, but it's not the way I intended as a programmer. That was a big whirlwind the whole time we were going through that.
Yep.
Did it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No. But does it cause some friction along the way? Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Bridge definitely was a necessity. Doesn't necessarily have to be Bridge, but some software that provided continuity across the board between all coaches, because we do run a semi-private model. We haven't really kind of talked about that, but our clients already know.
Yeah.
But for anyone that doesn't know, what separates us from all the big box gyms, the class base, now that we're kind of in our model, what piece of that is like, oh, that's why I want to go to PHP, because this isn't something I found anywhere else.
Yeah. So, right, I explain this when people do a discovery session with me and explain, like, what goes on here, right? So, of course, we do, like, your traditional personal training that most people, when they think of personal training, they think of what we call private training, which is one-on-one. Been done forever, right? And it's great. High touch points, high level of detail. Besides that, if you think about the span of fitness, besides that, if you're getting a coached fitness experience, it's generally group classes where it's 15, 20, 30 people, work out of the day, everybody's doing the same thing, right? Semi-private training, we take the private training experience and you're sharing the time of a coach. So we still get the attention to detail, and as far as like a program design and a coach showing you how to do something and making sure it's done correctly, but cutting out the fluff that in some cases, right, depending on the person, the fluff part of, like, we can't count for you, right, because we're working with multiple people, but that's the least valuable part, right, of personal training, is someone standing there and just saying, like, 6, 7, 8, sometimes just to fill time because it's awkward if you're staring at someone while they're working out. So in that model, right, we get all those attention to detail, and then you're sharing the time with the coach, which, one, it makes it significantly less expensive, right, because other people are sharing the cost of the trainer. But in the way that we're running it, that is oftentimes overlooked, is we can run it as a team. So if you're doing one-on-one training with someone, you're attached to their schedule. So, and we ran into this for a long time. It's like, if I go on vacation or I get sick, sorry, like, you're going to miss your sessions. And consistency, of course, is huge. Even more so, like, I remember having situations where I was on vacation, then I come back, and then they're on vacation. And now we've gone 3 weeks and they haven't worked out. Like, you just lost, a month, maybe even 2 months worth of progress, because, of course, if they're on vacation, they're not just stopping, they're probably going backwards.
Yeah, plus the skip payment.
Right? Yeah, too. So even from the business side. And then, but like that piece of, okay, now if it's a group situation like that, a small group, right? Like, it's okay if it's me or it's you or it's Maria or whoever it is, we're all communicating well and we speak the same language, and like, someone can call out on us 10 minutes before and I could step on the floor and take care of every single person just like I would if I were doing individual personal training, which most places or people or groups of people don't have that capability. Yep. And it is very hard to do, but that's the advantage, right? Like,
how many busy adults do we have, which is our main clientele, that say, I cannot do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5:30, but I can do Monday at 2:30, Wednesday at 6 a.m., Friday at 2:30 again. And we're like, oh, that's our semi-private model, and that's perfect. Here's your, and they're like, oh, I've never been able to, every time I tell a one-on-one trainer that, like, no, I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2:30 available. I do not have 6 a.m. because it's already booked. I have this, and they're like, well, and then they're missing out on an opportunity. Did they need one-on-one? Probably not. But with this model, they get the opportunity to work on their schedule. They get an opportunity to work with multiple coaches who have different abilities to look at a situation for that client and have a different conversation, and probably give them a little bit of insight that they wouldn't have got if they only worked with one coach. We hear that all the time, is like, oh, like I talked to this coach, and, you know, like, oh, you should talk to this coach next time you're in, because they're really good at this. They're really good at talking nutrition, or this coach is really good at this exercise. When you're in on Friday and you're working with this coach, go over this one again. And then they're like, oh, like that's the benefit right there. Sometimes it's scary at front. It's like, oh, I have to work with 3 different coaches, until they see our coaches and they work with the coach. Like, oh, this is fun. This is engaging now, because I'm not working with the same personality. I get to work with multiple personalities. And sometimes with the groups, we have clients that now even, I'm going to stay Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:15 because the other people that are on semi-private, they're now my friends. So we're all going to work together. And I thought that was really cool, that I didn't see coming from that perspective. I knew we were going to introduce clients. I never knew they were going to be like, hey, when is this person coming in? Because I want to make sure we're together. Like, I was like, that's cool.
There's so many things that are benefits of the way we do things that people love, that we did not do that intentionally. It just happened to be like, you remember Leonard Fowler? So he was the first person that really put it like super clear for me as far as like what we were doing and why it was great. So he came up to me, and he'd been with us like 2 or 3 years at this point. And he comes up to me and he goes, you know why I love this place? And I'm like, okay, this could go a lot of different directions. He's been here a long time. And he goes, I look around and I see, like, and he's naming all these different like demographics, like ages and goals. And this is like, I see all these different types of people. And because I see that, now I fit in. And like, I pause for a second, I'm like, wait, say that again. Because that's generally the opposite, right? Generally people say like, oh, I see other people that look like me and talk like me and act like me and dress like me. And that's what makes us fit in. But in that conversation, I realized, like, because there's not just one, because there's so many different types, like just that natural diversity of person and goal and all that stuff, everybody fits in. And I was like, oh, okay, that's who we are.
We're the place that you didn't know you needed.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Or
they haven't been able to find it, and then when they get here, they didn't know they needed X, Y, and Z. With, they're like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds. That's a great goal. Why do you want to lose 30 pounds? I want to look better. That's a great goal. Why do you want to look better? And you keep diving in, and they're like, dang it, you got me. Or like, when do I start? Because that's the layers to, we have our coach that we talk about. We talk about, okay, you want to lose 30 pounds? Let's go. Awesome. Anyone can get anyone to lose 30 pounds. Perfect. If that's your goal, is just to lose 30 pounds and not get any deeper than that, point of direction, you'll find a trainer. You'll be able to get that done. If you want to lose 30 pounds and maybe there's something else going on, or maybe you want to dive a little bit deeper into your health, not a lot of places can go to that level. But I think from our team perspective, we've purposely designed that. So we have degreed coaches. They all have some sort of subset of, okay, women's health, athletes, older population, special needs, neurological conditions, that it's like, okay, I've already studied this. I can help you. I've already I know you keep deflecting the nutrition, but we've tried dietitians and it's so deep. We've missed the middle part.
Yeah.
Same thing with like testing, like, yeah, that's all great.
Yeah.
Very time consuming, but there's the piece of you have all this information as a client.
Yeah.
This client's not doing anything with this information.
Yeah.
We just spent X amount of money, thousands of dollars usually.
Yeah.
Thank you for handing me this piece of paper with all these numbers on it and all these words and abbreviations. I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
Yeah.
But then that's when we started, we're like, okay, we have our programming on Bridge. Our clients are getting a little better. We added that layer of health coaching to that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that's done from taking our semi-private clients and then now kind of tucking in health coaching on the side with that?
Yeah. Well, and that's really when we started saying like, that's really the difference between health coaching and nutrition, right? What we found in going through that is we'd get all that deep level of information, and then we'd find out like really the first maybe 3 to 5 steps are the same anyway. We didn't need a test to tell us that we needed to drink more water and stop eating sugar or whatever it is, right? Regardless of, what gut microbiome stuff we see, like the answer is still like we gotta stop eating too much sugar, right? Or whatever it is, right? Like, and that's where we're like, okay, this is a cool thing and it's a great tool, but if you're talking about like practically what matters, right? And that's the job of a coach. Like, there are a ton of coaches that can put together a great plan on paper, right? A great strategy and schematic. But if you can't actually help the person implement that thing and take it to the next step, it doesn't matter. That's not a good coach. A good coach can't just do that, right? That's the difference, right? The best coaches also get you to take action and get you over the obstacles. I would even argue that most people, and this happens in all areas of life, they know what they need to do, or they know enough. The coach coming in sometimes just either confirms what they know, and now they're willing to do the thing. Like, okay, now I have clarity and confidence that this is going to get me there.
That's why I'm not worried about AI.
Yeah.
Because you can prompt anything, design me this program with this diet, my goal is this, in this timeline, and they print it out. They're in the same spot they were before, just now they have a piece of paper that they're going to stare at without any actionable pieces to it, until they find the right combination for that person of, am I working with the right person? Am I ready to take these steps?
Yep.
Am I going to have a support system built within this to enable my ultimate goal, which isn't just 30 pounds. We've seen that over and over. Yes, you say 30 pounds. It's not 30 pounds.
Right.
There's so many different things. What is that 30 pounds going to do for you?
Yeah. And that's actually the scary part of AI, right? Is that it can help take you somewhere that you might not actually want to go, right? If you tell it like, oh yeah, I want to lose 30 pounds, right? You have to be really good with prompting and self-awareness and all this stuff, because the number of times, right, someone comes in, we sit down for the discovery session, I ask what your goals are. It's, I want to lose weight. I want to lose whatever, right? And it's easy, right? And a lot of coaches do this. They take that at surface level and say, great, I can help you lose weight, right? And some of it you can say, it's like, okay, why do you want to lose weight? But the other side is, so many people come in thinking, I want to lose 20 pounds. And I ask why, like, why that number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, it's like, oh, this is what I weighed when, right? Name whatever point in time they felt good about their body and the way it looked and it felt. And then I say, okay, so does a number actually matter, or is this an association that you have to that time, right? Because we also know, and I asked them this, like, you at whatever weight, 150 pounds, 180 pounds, can look 10, 20, 30 different ways, right? And that's actually one of the parts that actually kind of like breaks my heart with people sometimes, is they're chasing a goal that isn't actually what they want, right? And that's the thing, like if someone asks AI, like, oh, can I do this? It might help them get there, and they might get there and be like, oh no, right? And that's usually, right, we have that conversation about body composition and when you can have those conversations with people and they understand at a deeper level, and they get like, clear understanding of what's gotten in their way in the past and why they haven't been able to get what they want, all of a sudden, even if we were to do the same thing, their adherence goes up, their consistency goes up, their buy-in goes up, and now they actually get where they want to go. Right? That's the difference between coaching and like, build me a workout plan that can help me do this, right? Like those things. And that's why people stay forever too, right? If you talk about one of the biggest problems in fitness, or right, we're coming up to, new year, new me and all that stuff, is like people get to this first month or whatever it is and
hard and heavy.
And okay, what changes, So many people don't have the systems set up to actually get them over those tough moments, right? And that's the job of a coach. It's like, hey, it's hard right now. I know you don't want to get up, just show up, follow the plan.
So we've got to the point where we have clients here, they're staying. We haven't really touched on the system piece of after they have the discovery session. One thing that we saw that was important is we dive into all the history. We break down those layers. We bridge a little bit of the awareness side of things. But a lot of times that light bulb moment after they're like, dang, I didn't know I really wanted that, is their second time with us. Is not just the in-body, which I think is a very important conversation as far as like starting, because it's objective discussion. It's not subjective anymore.
Right.
But then once we have that discussion of, okay, here's what, not what I say, not what you say, here's actually what your body's saying. Is this is your lean mass, this is your fat mass. I know everyone gleams right at that percent body fat, but that's not necessarily what we're looking at. And then we're looking at all those ratios. We actually get to see that intracellular water piece of it, which is very important for us, because of all those underlying things that we're talking about. And most of the time it is, are you drinking enough water? Yes, I am. Awesome. Let's see. And we get that in-body out and we're like, the majority of the time this number reads this high is because you're not drinking enough water or the right type of water, meaning electrolyte balance, meaning do you have enough nutrients to support the water that you're drinking? In order for this number to not read this high in your body, because something's missing. So that gives us that first conversation. Then we walk them out, we get away from that paper. Now we just stand there and now we're like, I'm not going to coach you whatsoever. I'm going to give you parameters and I want to see exactly how you move. Let's say just a squat. They go up, they go down. And we're like, did you know you do that? No, I did not know I do that. Okay, so we have that conversation. Did you see your foot go out? Yeah, it always does that. Did you know that's not normal? Well, it's normal to me. Was it always normal? No. And then we're going back to that piece of, okay, you're trying to get to here. Your body physically and mechanically is showing us this. There is a path that we found doing this thousands and thousands of times that if we jump right to here without addressing this piece right here, or if we both don't know that that's happening, we've done them a disservice. And we're going to have to come back around to that piece at some point or during this process because of an injury, an ailment, because we're limited on, hey, I know that you really want to grow your legs, but we missed all these steps in order to load your legs now without pain, without being able like, okay, I'm stuck at 100 pounds on this trap bar. Well, it's because we missed all these pieces right here. So with our assessment, we don't just have, okay, this is a 3, this is a 2. We're having our first real conversation about their movement and how their psychology and like that whole connection. And every single time we hear, this is the first time someone's ever done this with me. No one's ever told me that. I just go to the doctor, I have back pain. They give me, I have an NSAID option, I have an orthopedic referral option, or I have a physical therapy option. I don't have a problem with any one of those if they're all needed, or if any piece of that's needed. But if we haven't even done that, that's the problem. And then we start our assessment, our movement mechanics screen. We figure out, okay, we see, for instance, let's say their low back. They go halfway, there's pain. Like, okay, let's pick 2 things. We're gonna go. Let's take the ankles out of it real quick. Did that fix it? Most of the time, it drops them a little bit deeper. They have depth. The tension's gone. Did we address the back? No. But we figured out some mechanical advantage that we can give them, at least at this point, that we can start working through this process. Okay, we did that. Okay, is it a motor control issue? Then we go into motor function. Can you do this? Let's say a rotary stability. Can you do that? Yes, there's no pain, but I'm highly fatigued right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have a capability function, and then we have an ability function that there's a gap.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, which one are we addressing first? And then we have those conversations. Usually we're going like mobility first, so we can get that function back. And then we're going to be like, okay, let's get into the extensibility of your tissue from the stability standpoint. And then now we're going to start tying that all in from a neuromuscular point.
You know what's funny too about like that whole process, right? I would say, of course, it's valuable for these people that like have never worked out before, right? But I think the ones that it becomes most beneficial for are some of these people that have gone on their own, right? And we're talking about New Year, right? They go on their own, they're winging it, or they're just doing like what they've been taught, what their friends do or whatever. And at some point, whether it's a full-on injury or like aches and pains, those things start catching up with them because they're doing the wrong things for their body or the wrong things the wrong way for their body. And now they're finally understanding. And like we've already, like they've gone through that cycle where it's like, okay, I feel good. I'm seeing progress. Oh, this thing happened. I got to take a week off. And okay, and again. And I got to take a week off. Like, man, this doesn't work. I'm done, right?
And it's not always the same injury or the same issue either.
And now, not only can we fix that so that cycle doesn't happen, but now that person understands like, oh, this is why fitness has failed me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I just had the wrong plan. Right? Like I needed that guidance. And
so you're saying bodybuilding does not fix everyone's issue.
Arguably does more damage. And I love it, but you know what? That's another thing too. No matter education level, right? We all tend to go back, whether you're new or whether like you have a degree in this stuff, we all go back to the things that we know and that we're comfortable with and that we like, right? So, I mean, we've talked about this. We do this as a team. Like, I would be way better off if you made my program for me than me making my program for myself, because I will revert back to the same things, which at some point that catches up with you, right? You're diving into patterns and chronic issues that will pile up, right? So that alone, it's like even people that have been working out their entire lives, like, I know how to work out, like, but you're probably going to keep doing the same things, which if we take an objective look through an assessment, we can see, what are we missing? Which the same thing happens with nutrition. Like no matter what way you eat, you're missing something, and we probably have to fill that in some other way or cycle off.
So I've always, thousands of assessments.
Especially if you include military.
Yeah, no, I'm not counting military. Then I'll magnify that by 10. One of my favorite parts is once we get through the mobility function is my question of when's the last time you were able to comfortably do a pull-up? And doesn't matter if it's a kid, doesn't matter if we're talking about adult fitness. I say 9 times out of 10, either they don't remember or they've tried and there's no way they're getting
Why a pull-up?
Because to me, that gives their ability of, because when's the last time that you just want, like an adult, or even an athlete, just wanted to get up on a bar and pull themselves up, right? Everyone's like, oh, I do 10 push-ups a night. Cool. Or I do 20 sit-ups, something like that. I'm like, okay, when's the last time you did pull it? Because everyone will shy away from the thing that's the hardest. But if they're like, okay, I've worked out the last 10 years, if you just sit up on you just grab the cable machine, and you're doing pull downs,
Lat pull down,
or you're doing rows, and you're like, oh man, I can do the whole stack. I'm like, that's awesome. Does it carry over to life? And that's where, to me, that's where the pull-up comes in. I don't even care if you can do a pull-up. Can you even hang on the bar and sustain yourself without tearing something, without just feeling like this is the hardest thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, I like that piece of that because we're talking about life now, outside of fitness. This is something that gives me one of the first actual physical screenshots of, okay, yeah, I saw them. Can they pick something up off the ground?
Yep.
Yes or no? Does it cause pain? Yes or no? I got that. We can fix that. Now you tell me that you're strong.
Yeah.
I don't really care about any other metric as of right now. Can you get on that bar?
Which, I mean, you take this all the way through the lifespan, like one of the best fitness assessments, right? Like one of the standard fitness assessments for correlation with longevity is grip strength, right? So like, I mean, it literally, like you said, like just hanging there, that's a pretty good gauge. Like the longer you can, as you get older, the older you can get and still just hold on to a bar and not fall, which, you know, anyone who's in like say senior care knows like how many times someone in their older ages loses their balance and falls and they go to grab something and they actually have it but don't have the grip strength or the dexterity to actually prevent the fall. Right? Like it you know, and that's again, like that's why that test is like timeless in looking at longevity.
So we have the assessment. We worked through the health coaching a little bit. What's keeping the clients here?
What's keeping the clients here? Well,
this is kind of more of like like, why would they talk about PHP to someone that they know?
Yeah. The simplest answer is like that human connection piece, right? It's, you know, what we would consider like the community part of our core values, right? Because we've talked, and I tell people all the time, the first time they meet us, ideally, you reach all the goals you ever dreamed and imagined, and you've learned how to maintain those goals, but you stay here anyway because you love it, right? So, you know, the short answer to why someone stays here past, you know, their 3-month goal, their 6-month goal, their 12-month goal is that human connection, which, you know, we could have a whole conversation on like the value of that and how many people don't get like true uninterrupted by electronics, you know, communication. Like that's a huge blessing that we get as coaches. You know, we talk sometimes in our meetings, like, shoot, sometimes we get, you know, if you're talking about a week where someone sees us 2 or 3 times a week for an hour, we might get more uninterrupted, like, communication time than some people do with their spouse or their kids, just in the hustle of life, right? And spending quality time is what draws people in. You know, you take that plus, of course, the aspect that we take of once you're even approaching your goal, we need to start having the conversation about, okay, what's the next goal, right? Because nothing stays the same, right? We're either getting better or we're getting worse, right? So if we get to that goal, right, the job of coach, right, if we're really trying to provide value to people is, okay, what's next? What else is important to you? What else can you not do that you used to be able to do or that you wish you could do? And I mean, this is where like a lot of the Spartan stuff comes in for us, right? Whether it's, say, ex-athletes or even for us, like people that have never had athletic goals, like get them to do something that they never thought they could do. And I mean, the Spartan races are a great one because there's some good entry points. I mean, someone that never thought they could complete something like that, and then also doing it with a group of people, like the neurotransmitter side, like you have such a deep level of attachment now of like achievement and human connection with people, like
with them.
like, and if people don't have like some sort of like team competition thing, like as adults, like where else do you get that, right? Maybe the workplace, depending on what you do, but like I would say that's rare. It's one of those things, like if you ask everybody that's ever been here what they love most about being here and what they got out of it, and like if any of the testimonials or reviews we get, of course they get the results, But that's not what they remember the most. That's not the thing that they appreciate the most. It's like, oh yeah, they helped me lose 20 pounds, but man, I gained all these other things. Like the number of times someone comes here for one thing, but they stay here for something different because they realize there's so much other pieces of value to their life over that span. Like, I think a lot of times, like you don't even have to be that intentional. It's just investing in a person, right? In their growth.
And that's kind of like our first step is caring enough to get into that barrier of that client.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, we constantly hear how much a client loves our group of coaches,
mm-hmm.
our team of coaches, and how much they love the coach that they work with the most, and how much they want to do more with that coach.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself, when we're talking about human connection, is a big piece from a separator standpoint
mm-hmm.
from anything out there, whether it's competitors, AI, anything like that. It's they show up, they're looking, and you can always see they're like, where's my coach? And then they see their coach like, yep. I was like, it's going to be a good session today. And I'm like, and that's just, it's cool to see because they didn't anticipate that whenever they signed up. They anticipated, I'm coming here for this linear thing, which is a number that they didn't know that wasn't important to them. But then they figure out that number is not important. This is important. Then they figure out, oh, this is one of my places that I call,
third place.
Right? There we go.
Third place theory, right? Everybody has their home and their workplace in most cases, or it could be a school. But like everybody usually has a third place where they gather around people that they're used to, that know them by name and know something about them, right? And that's one of the things that we've talked about a lot. It's like,
know your client.
We need to become their third place, right? Because honestly, if it's not here and it's not, say, some sort of like sport team or whatever, whether it's adults, even as adults, like if they don't have that, unfortunately, it's usually like a bar, right? Like, you know, what else is there, right? From a community standpoint.
Church, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're talking about something that they're doing for themselves that has to do with health and things like that. That's it right there.
And it's so funny to see that progression for people too, where it's like the numbers, they realize so many other things that they're getting out of this, and so many other things in their life that start lining up, right? Like Steve Box, for example. So I was actually talking to one of his employees, and she was saying, like, she can see the difference since he's been here, and his energy and his drive and all these things. And it's like, oh man, like he's on one, like, let's go. And the reality that, like, you know, and that's the other line that we see this a lot, like moms in particular, it's like you become better in all these other areas of your life, right? Whether it's emotional regulation with parenting kids, or whether it's like the way that you work with your coworkers, like all of these things that there's study after study after study that talks about, right, the benefits of fitness, and it's like it's almost noise because there's so much, but when you actually experience it, it's completely different. And that's, again, like that's why people stay.
And we see that too, even with our own coaches who live in the health industry. We see those ups and downs, and we know when they're off, and we're like, when's the last time you worked out? And they're like, well, either haven't had time, haven't made time, something else is going on. I'm like, every week we can all tell. I was like, you need to organize yourself, get your head right, and you need to move your body. And then it's like, okay, they start doing it, and they're like, you see their mood change, they're smiling more, clients can see it. Right? I mean, you don't want to just kind of superficially layer it down. It's like, you need to work out. But it's been shown that there are neural, hormonal, metabolic regulations that have to improve because the body's working on a better rate. So, I mean, that's one of my kind of favorite things to see is I'm like, all right, group it up, let's work out. We need to do something as a team. We need to do something. Or you see clients getting a little stale. I'm like, all right, let's refocus, repurpose.
Yep.
What's going to get you re-engaged?
How do you get out of that cycle, right? Whether it's a thought cycle or an action cycle that they've been in, how do we break that and change the path? Yeah.
My favorite thing is when you're talking about Steve, that's not the first case, and we wouldn't even know that.
Yeah.
If one of his employees didn't come in and sign up as a client too.
Yeah.
But how many times do you think that's happened? We don't even know that. We just see them in here and like, oh, dang, they're happy now. They're looking good now. They look a lot healthier now. We don't see that second, third, fourth effect that their spouse, their children, their employees, their boss, they're like, dang, you're more productive. You're better to be around. Like there's a lot of opportunities that open up whenever your body just starts firing on all cylinders. And we see it all the time with athletes. Like, damn, like that's flow state right there.
Yep.
Like they're just in it. Like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I'm doing what people aren't doing.
Yep.
Like I'm showing up. They're not showing up. I'm putting in this work. They're not putting in this work. And we're just kind of backing that up. Like we're lowering the intensity. We're lowering the frequency. Yeah. But if we layer all the things that we're offering here, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're going to sleep better, which is highly, highly a symptom nowadays.
Yep.
Like a lot of people want to go right to like, no, sleep is not the root cause of your problem. There's something going on in your body that's causing you not to be able to sleep.
Right.
Fall asleep or stay asleep. There's something going on.
Right.
Right. And then from there, it's like we're able to get them to sleep, which was the third layer that we found of why they were trying to lose weight. But like, oh, we found that there. Mm-hmm. Okay, how can we help you with sleep? We draw it back. Now we're getting into our nutrition conversations. Yeah. What are you doing that's not getting you to sleep? Or what are you doing that's not getting you to where you want to go from a nutritional standpoint? Oh, it's because I'm doing that. Why are you like, oh, I am emotionally eating.
Yeah.
Oh, or this is a coping mechanism for me. Or yes, it is this trauma that started me on this eating path. It's like, okay, so you don't necessarily just want to lose 20 pounds. We're here now. And they're like, damn it. Like, and that's kind of like that whole, and we see that, like that whole picture of evolution from a client just coming here, wanting to lose weight, getting into the family, the social side of things, of that improving, their productivity improving.
Yep.
And then that's when we're talking about that full circle moment is like, I can't leave this place because this has enabled every facet of my life. And even like, let's not say this place, let's say their health. They can't leave their health.
Yeah.
Because they either have the tools now and they're going to go implement on their own, or potentially they'll talk to their own family and start helping them with something too. And then now we're a multiplier.
Yep.
Which happens over and over again too, which is why we have husband, wife. Mm-hmm. We have mom and child.
Yep.
We have brother and sister.
Yep.
We have boss and employee.
Yeah.
We have almost every single relationship that we can think of, because one person in that circle made a decision to change something about them, and someone else saw it, or they saw it so much in themselves, they talked about it to everyone. They're like, fine, where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, where is that happening?
You know what's interesting? There've been a couple of guys over the last couple of years that have uncomfortably chosen to like document, right, on social media or whatever, like what they're doing and put it out there for people. Like I said, uncomfortably, like that don't want to. And I've tried to continue encouraging them, like, look, I know your concern is you don't want people to think it's like, oh, I'm like, look at me, I'm doing this thing. You don't realize who you are motivating and influencing by showing that you and everything about you that they may or may not know, you can do it and you're doing it, not the professional athlete, right? And like, I'm doing this with spouse, I'm doing this with kids, I'm doing this with full-time job, and all these real life things. And like you mentioned, like, you know, getting the feedback, like those, the spouses in particular, right? Like a lot of, even if they're not here, like we have some sort of social event or community event and they come up and they're like, thank you, and this, and this, and this, and this. I'm like, oh man, like that's it. That's all I needed. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like that moment of them and their appreciation and really understanding a deeper level, that sometimes, especially if it's like the husband is the client, and they may not be as, talkative and verbal and feedback wise, but of course the spouse is more like, oh my gosh, he's so different in this and this and this. And they're like, huh,
and they'll still
he didn't say that.
and they'll still downplay it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I'm just here to work out.
Have I ever shown you, so when I've done some of like my presentations at like some of these networking meetings, have I ever shown you the graphic that I use of like what people think I do?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, there's what my mom thinks I do, and it's like the aerobics lady, and then there's like what my friends think I do, which is just like hanging out in the gym, lifting weights or whatever, and like just messing around. And then what we think we do, which is like, the Super Bowl coach or whatever, right? And then it's what I really do. And it's like a picture of a therapist.
Yeah.
And like that reality that like movement is the entry point, right? It's the tool that we use. But the reality is like there's so many other things, right? And again, like it still goes back to some of that piece, like in a lot of cases, people know enough to make progress, right? Maybe not get all the way to their goal, but they know enough to get progress. But there's still something else getting in the way besides knowledge, which again, it's the AI thing. It's like knowledge is rarely the problem, right? It's behavior.
Yep.
We are in the behavior change business more than anything else. So